Morning.
Morning.
How come you're up so early then, huh?
I'm just working on my vision board.
You brought that all the way from Vancouver Island?
Yeah.
I thought you'd finished this thing. I thought it was done.
No, not quite.
Oh, yeah?
Well, most of these things became reality, but there's one thing missing. To have and to hold.
No, that's not going to happen. It's way too early to be talking about that kind of thing.
Too late. It's happening.
No, you just stuck it on the board. It's not...
I better start looking for a wedding dress. Ooh.
No, this isn't happening. Just because you stuck it on a board, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. You're not Amanda Hardcastle.
Well, I am. It's right there on the board. And it's in sparkles, so you know it's true.
Look, I'm just going to go out and shoot the sunrise, okay? I'll be back in a bit.
Okay. Be careful out there.
Oh.
Could be bears.
Yeah, I know.
Could be scary.
Scary. I've been more scary than this, will it? All right, bye then.
Bye, future husband.
I'm not future husband.
So I grabbed my camera bag and my tripod in the hopes of witnessing a glorious sunrise. But now she got me worried about bears. But as a matter of routine, I always ask loudly,
Any bears? Nope. All right.
They don't usually respond. Well, not very often.
Any bears? So that's no bears then, because I'd very much like to not surprise you. Woo. No bears then? Alright. Any bears?
There are times, however, when it pays to be cautious. Like when you're alone in the woods.
I don't know if you can see on the other side of the lake there, but there's a black shape on the very other side of the lake which is moving. So it's probably a black bear. Either that or it's a fisherman wearing all black in bear season, which is doubtful. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that. The area that I'm shooting is just over here, so I'm shooting in that direction, so I'm going to be constantly looking over there just in case it's a bear. And even if it is a bear, I'm not too worried as long as I don't bump into a grizzly over on this side. But if it's a black bear and it's busy doing whatever it's doing over there, I don't think it's got any interest in a chubby Yorkshireman wearing a blue jacket, do you? It might actually be a mama bear and a couple of cubs, which is the worst case scenario. I think I see more than one shape. Anyway, I don't think they're interested in me. They're way on the other side of the lake. So this is what I'm here for. A lovely swamp reflection of Mount Sheffron reflected in this lovely little grotty pond here. I spotted this place years ago in a summer. You don't get this obviously in the winter. This is just a big snow patch. But I came out here with a client that I was teaching, and we were looking for Reflexion, and I found this, and it was absolutely fantastic. And if you look very closely, well, you can't see right now, but if I can spot one, I'll film it. If you look closer, you'll often see big, fat, ugly leeches, disgusting, horrible leeches, just kind of moving around in the water. One time I saw one that was as big as my finger. Quite what it had been feeding on, I have no idea, but maybe it was a fish and somehow it had ended up in here. I really don't know. But yeah, there be leeches, so don't go in there with bare feet. And it probably stinks too.
Now, I gave up trying to keep my feet dry years ago, especially when strolling in swampy grass.
Oh, my bag just fell over. Oh, this is... Oh. It's like standing on a pre-soaked sponge. It's weird. You gotta watch your balance. So when you think of Banff National Park or the Canadian Rockies, you think of this perfect, pristine wilderness, this completely gorgeous, shiny landscape, which it is, but what the brochures don't tell you is just how much of a mosquito-infested swamp it is that often has blood-sucking leeches everywhere. Of course they're not going to tell you that, but that is the reality. Now, I've chosen to walk out here onto a boggy marsh to get a shot. This is probably a worst case scenario, but honestly, even at the campground, if you're out during dusk or early in the morning before sunrise, it is horrendous. Once the sun pops up, they don't like the sun, those mosquitoes, so it's not too bad. But yeah, that is the truth, the reality of Banff National Park, that the brochures won't tell you. But it's still worth it. Even with these horrible blood-sucking bastards, it's still worth it. So what I'm thinking with this shot is place Mount Chevron off to the right and get this beautiful reflection in this pond. And I prefer this pond over that one because it's a lot deeper and there's less stuff growing in it. I don't know what these shrubs are that are growing in the pond, but it's a bit more open. Now, looking at that water, I reckon that's about 2, maybe 3 feet deep before you hit that weird yellow looking algae. I'm assuming it's algae of some kind. And I bet if I was to stand in it, I would probably sink at least another 3 feet. So that's kind of scary. You could maybe drown in there if you got in that. Oh, there's actually some flowers budding over there in this swamp. So that's the plan, and hope for some beautiful glow on the peaks, which I feel is imminent. It's going to happen any second now. Oh, my feet are completely underwater. Right, let's work on this shot. Ooh. My arm's just not long enough to fit this peak in the frame. So there's Mount Chevron, just starting to glow in that gorgeous morning light. And these peaks that you can see over in the distance should also catch that same light. In fact, this whole mountain range will be glowing in about 20 minutes. And I love this little pond that I've got in the background. My leech-infested pool there with this weird scuzz or algae. I don't know what that is, but I wouldn't want to eat it, but it's kind of beautiful in my picture. As always, I know I whinge a lot about blue skies, but I'm just going to do it again. I wish I had some clouds. What a shot I would get if I had just a few clouds catching that morning glow. Ah, well. At least I know that this swamp is still here. I wasn't sure if it would be here because it's a few years since I first discovered this, so at least I know it's here. If I want to, I can come back under hopefully better conditions. Ooh, let me just get this shot. So my top tip, if you like to shoot reflections like I do, let me just switch hands here. My top tip is to try and find areas around the lake or around the beach that are just out of the main body of water, because the main body of water will catch a lot of wind often. Whereas pockets like this, you know, a little swamp that's just off to the side of the lake, or if it was a beach, maybe a tide pool that was just off to the side of the actual waves, it's often much calmer, it's protected. You won't get as much wind on that surface. I kind of like this interrupted reflection. There's more to it than just a straight mountain reflection in a lake. This swamp adds an extra dimension. So by looking for those smaller areas, those little sections of trapped water that won't have to suffer as much wind as the main body of water, you'll probably get a better reflection. I have to keep moving because if I stop, the mosquitoes are on me and it's brutal. So now I'm getting some pretty juicy glow on these peaks. Let me switch this round. Look at that business.
Now, I'm not going to pretend that this is a killer shot, and it's certainly not a portfolio image, but what I'd like you to take away from this video is that, in my experience, it takes around 10 visits to a specific location before you get that amazing light, especially if you're also hoping for atmospheric clouds like in this shot from about 3 years ago. So I want you to realize that behind every killer shot that you see, there were probably at least 9 visits where the light was terrible. So don't give up if the light gives up on you. Just keep going back, and one day you'll hit that jackpot.
So you remember how nervous I was about that black shape over there, thinking it was a bear? I think it's just a log. Your mind plays tricks with you when it's semi-dark, you know. But I'll keep an eye on that log, because you never know. Keep watching it. Oh, God, mosquitoes, they're even on the Osmo. What do you think you're going to do? Get blood out of DJI? It's usually the other way around. Oh, one thing I've been forgetting to do is the wave of hatred. So if you remember my Chester Lake video, it goes something like this. Flap, flap, flap. Take the shot. If you've got a remote, that's even easier, but I've got a 2-second timer. Flap, flap, flap. Because those bastards, they'll get in your frame. You know, you'll think, oh no, there were no mozzies in that frame, but when you look back at them on the computer, there's 20. They seem to be able to, oh, get off you bastards. They seem to also be able to time it perfectly so that they're in a position that makes it impossible to clone them out. You know, it'd be nice if they were just in a patch of blue sky, but no, they're always on the edge of a mountain peak or something like that. Why? Why do they exist? Oh, God, I'm f***ing... Oh, shit. Oh, bastards. Honestly, why do they exist? If they're part of any food chain, where are you? Why aren't you eating these mosquitoes? There's a buffet in the air right now. Come and get them. Hey, where's the bats? Where you at, bat?
You know that you've got health problems when your blood is so rich that it instantly gives the mosquitoes diabetes.
Right, I've had enough. I can't deal with these shy talks anymore. I've given my donation. You've had enough. And don't worry, I'll keep my eye on that tree stump. Look like a bear, really.
But the day had only just begun, so it was time to get back to the camper and pick up Amanda for the next adventure.
We just got a tip off from a young couple down at the beach that said that this hike was spectacular. So, should we do it?
In the roasty sun, yeah,
the
let's
roasty
go.
toasty. Are we bringing Cletus?
I think he's a little too tired.
Thank God for that. I mean, oh, okay, yeah, let him rest.
Yeah, he'll sit this one out.
Yeah.
We don't want him to get heat stroke.
No.
And
All right,
him.
let's go, eh?
Yeah, let's go. Are we there yet?
Now, I will never admit this to Brent, but I was actually considering his offer to adopt Cletus because out of the hundreds of positive comments that I receive in support of Cletus, well, there have been 3 negative comments from hate-filled trolls asking for Cletus to be retired. So I'm going to need your help to decide this. Please cast your vote. To keep Cletus, hit the like button. And to get rid of Cletus, hit the thumbs down button twice. And then the like button.
So we finally made it up to Sheffron Lake, or Keffron Lake. And my plan is to... What was I saying? Yeah, my plan is to try and get a lovely shot of the Milky Way over on that side of the mountain. Oh, look at that right now. You can see that shaft of light coming down. Absolutely spectacular. So the sun's just popped over that edge. I'm going to stop gabbing and get the shot in earnest. So this is one of those very dynamic light situations, something that I couldn't predict. I've never been here before, but hopefully you can see it. Just look at that spectacular beam of light that you've got going on over there. So now I'm in the shadow of that. So it's not quite as dramatic. I'm missing the sun star and there isn't as much contrast. But if I move over here and basically try and outrun the shadow that I'm stuck inside, I'll start to get that sun star back. Oh, sketchy log. Oh, God. There you go. So now if I point the camera up, you should see the sun just peeking over that edge. Maybe not. Maybe I need to go a bit further. Hope there's no bears around here. Yeah, there's the sun. So that's what I want to try and get in my shot, is just that little clip of the sun as it's going over the edge, creates a sun star and gives you that extreme light ray. I'll try and frame it up, but it's moving so quick, I'm just having to chase this shadow. Okay, so I'm almost out of this shadow. Let me just overexpose this a bit. You can see this sun star up here and it's creating this shaft of light blasting down. So let me try and just change the display a little bit to get rid of all this stuff. Okay, there you go. You can just see that light ray blasting down. It's illuminating that lovely patch in the water. And there you go. In a few seconds, the sun has just moved out of the edge of that mountain, and now I've lost that sun star, but I've still got that light ray. So what I'm going to do is take another shot at f9, super sharp. Foreground should be super sharp. I focused on Mount Sheffrin there, and earlier when the sun was just slightly over to the left and I was getting that sun star, I took an extra shot at f22. Let me just bracket this and do an underexposed one, and that would give me that lovely sun star. So what I'm going to do is pick this up and go.
Once again, I put in the effort, but at best, this is a mediocre shot. And that is the other thing that I'd like you to take away from this video, which is that it's totally okay for you to fail at landscape photography, even repeatedly, because it's my belief that if you're not failing regularly, well, then you're probably not going out enough.
So far on this trip, our favourite mountain snack for hiking has been these pre-chopped pineapple, and normally you'd expect them to be those almost white crappy pineapples that are just battery acid, but these are gloriously sweet and delicious. Bears don't like pineapples, do they? I didn't think so. So the problem with now being in the shadow of Sheffrin, sounds kind of dramatic, doesn't it? The shadow of Sheffrin is that now we've become mosquito food, because they don't like being in the hot sun, do they? And we're in basically a swamp, so it's mosquito central, and I'm wearing shorts, and I do apologise, I am wearing inappropriate footwear, but there was a good reason for that, and that is because I gashed my foot really badly on those stairs to the camper, which appear to be made out of razors. They're an absolute hazard, and Amanda's smashed her feet on them a couple of times as well. So forgive me for being a bit of a wimp and wearing bloody hikers. To be honest, I don't think you want to see my gammy foot with its mashed up wounds. It's not nice. Anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm waiting for the sun to pop out the other side of Sheffrin there, and so that's given me a bit of time to, instead of scramble like an idiot, a bit of time to find some interesting foreground. And there's not a huge amount of stuff here, it's just the odd bit of driftwood that's floated up to the beach. But I've got some cool sort of mossy old rotten logs here that have got some nice shapes, so I'll frame those up in my foreground. I'm not going to bother showing you the composition just yet. I'll wait and see if this light is going to work. It does kind of look as if, hopefully you can see it, I think I can just see a little beam starting to pop out there. So maybe I was wrong, maybe I won't get a twin beam. I'll be quite happy if I get that second attempt, now that I've found a slightly better foreground. What are you doing?
I just came across it.
But it was in my camera bag. What are you doing? What? There's going to be consequences. That's camera bag chocolate. It's sacred. You cannot plunder it. Yeah, you put it back. You put it back. What? I'm watching you. Are you missing Cletus?
Yesterday was just so hard on the guy. I just looked at him sitting on the table and he was like, no!
So when we hiked up here, it was 26 degrees, it was scorchio. And I was like, no, I'm not bringing any more layers to carry, because I'm hot enough as it is in this get up and be shorts. Can't get me like that high. Now I'm wishing I brought some layers, because I am a mosquito buffet.
Yeah, I got goosebumps too.
This is why I don't like pooing in the woods, because as soon as you pull your drawers down, you are completely peppered in blood-sucking bastards. Is it a helicopter? What is it? I hope it doesn't bite me.
It's a bug.
I reckon my prediction was bogus. I'm looking over there, and I can see a bit of sun in those distant trees, but I don't know if it's going to work its way around to give us that light ray and that lovely blast of light in the pool. So I've got to make an executive decision and decide to quit, because if we hoy it down the trail fast enough, we might just make it back in time for sunset. This isn't really much of a sunset location because the sun sets behind the mountains. You never know, there's a chance that we might get something going on in the sky It's not entirely impossible that you can get a backlit sunrise that looks epic. But I think I'd rather try my chances down back by the campground than wait for this that might never come.
And so off we went, back down the hill, abandoning all hope of shooting the Milky Way because of our poor wardrobe choices. I mean, it's not like I just wanted to get back to the camper to relax. I mean, come on, it's not like she's got me completely domesticated, is it? Oh, for fuck.
Morning, look.
Gavin? I can't see you. Oh, here you are. That's just a God. I just like smelling this glue.
You can't say that on YouTube. You're condoning glue stick.
Well, most of these things became reality, but there's still just one thing missing.
Let's do it again. No, you just stuck it on the board. It's not.
I better start shopping for a weeding dress.
You little How dare you? It does say weeding dress. Just putting it on a board doesn't make it real. You're not Amanda Hardcastle.
Well, no, not yet, but soon.
The glitter. This isn't real.
Yeah, it is. It's right there, and there's sparkles, so it's got to be true.